What's going on, GPC fans? Welcome back to another video of mine. I'm Ace Trainer Josh, and I'll be bringing you my Week 3 Season 5 Team Builder, not the match, versus the San Francisco RegiGiants, otherwise known as Mr.Murkrow. Pretty well-known battler, and I'm pretty sure he's been featured in the GBA before as like an analyst or something. Pretty cool guy. He's pretty chill. Nice guy. Anyways, as you can see, his team is on the very left of the screen, and pretty scary teamy. I said teamy. Very scary team. And yeah, his team consists of Clefable, Mega Venusaur, Heatran, Thundurus T, Lucario, Sneasel, Donphan, Gastron, Mesprit, and Licky Licky. It does kind of lack a huge offensive presence Mon, and the Pokemon that do have that offensive presence, not the not the fastest Pokemon in the world. His fastest offensive Mon is base 101. Actually, no, Sneasel is, but Sneasel doesn't do a lot to my team. And speaking of my team, if you want to see what it is, it's the same as always. My team does consist of Manaphy, Togekiss, Mega Scizor, Arcanine, Latias, Piloswine, Virizion, Manectric, and Gigalith. And that's basically the overall rundown of the teams. Might as well go over the teams on deck. First Pokemon that I'm going to be bringing is my... Okay, I had a brief. Okay, man, the first Pokemon I'm going to be bringing is my Togekiss. I'm bringing a Nasty Plot set this week. And since his speed tiers are a little off, it made sense to bring. This Pokemon outspeeds every single mon on his team except for Thundurus T, Lucario, Sneasel, and potentially Mesprit because it's a speed tie. So pretty much only 3 Pokemon, and everything else I can either hit with Dazzling Gleam or flinch with Air Slash, and that's always pretty nice. Running the Wakanberry this week so I can take Thunderbolts from the Thundurus T, and hopefully I'll be at +2, and I can just hit it up with a Dazzling Gleam, and I would be good to go. And that's pretty much Togekiss this week. Max Speed, of course, a speed tie, a Max Speed Jolly and or Mesprit. No, a Max Speed Jolly and or Timid Mesprit. Okay, I'm tingling up my words, and I don't. Sorry about that. I'm trying to just be as professional as I could possibly be. Anyways, my next Pokemon is my Scizor, King Scizor. Shout out to King. I have enough attack to do a KO with Bullet Punch, but in all reality, this probably should have been Iron Head because that does a million to a Clefable. And then all I would need after that is U-turn Superpower. But I kind of wanted priority, but in all reality, it's probably unnecessary. But to each their own. Now I know for next time. And I am running and a lot of speed. As a Mega, of course, I think I gained 10 points as a Mega Scizor. And with that amount of speed, Heatran would need to be very speed invested to actually outspeed me, which is of course very good. And as you can see, I hit 236 of base 75 with an Adamant Nature, and I just dumped the rest into 100. I just dumped the rest into HP. It's pretty standard stuff, and near max attack because of course I want to hit his Pokemon as hard as possible. Specifically, Clefable, Gastrodon, Heatran with a Superpower, Mega Venusaur with U-turn, stuff like that. Anyways, it's pretty much Mega Scizor down. Next is my Latias. I was able to think of a name this week, Rojo Tojo. I was like, it's red, Rojo, and then what rhymes with Rojo Tojo. Pretty original nickname. I was like, hey, that kind of works. Anyways, I'm running a pretty weird set. I'm running max special attack with Psychic, Earthquake, Healing Wish, and Defog. Earthquake because the 2 it kills most Heatrans, even if he's max defense, max HP. And then I have Psychic because he doesn't have the best Psychic resist in the world. He does have a Psychic immunity, but I don't think he'll bring the Sneasel because I have an Arcanine, and I also have a Mega Scizor, and I also have a, Piloswine. And that kind of walls it. So I was like, you know what? You probably won't even bring the Sneasel. So I'm like, okay, that works. This is going to be my Defogger this week so I can support my Arcanine and my Togekiss because I want to make sure these are both as healthy as possible because you'll see why later on. Anyways, sorry if you hear doors closing in the background. I live in a crowded home. Anyways, my next Pokemon is my Piloswine, the young swine running the Violet. Third straight week it came to, as well as my Togekiss and my Mega Scizor. All 3 of them kind of carried the team on its back. Mega Scizor has been kind of underwhelming so far, but I don't know. I haven't been using it the best to its abilities, I guess, but that's my fault. I haven't really had the most time to think of an amazing Scizor set. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, I promise this is Ice Shard, not Ice Fang. In the match, it was Ice Shard, I promise you. Anyways, running a very specially defensive Piloswine. In fact, it's just Max Max, mainly because I want to have something that can eat some moves from the Thunder's T. Thunder's T, the only way to kill me is if he's able to connect two straight focus blast. And if he can, then congratulations to him. But I can also just hit it with an Ice Shard, do a good amount of damage, just about 34 to 42% if he isn't bulky. And of course I have Roar because Calm Mind Clefable can potentially be a problem, especially since Bullet Punch does a lot less than you would expect. That's why I kind of wish I ran Iron Head instead. So I was like, you know what, make sure I don't lose to Calm Mind Clefable, I'll just run Roar. Seems like a pretty cool plan and such. And then, Earthquake is for stab. Hits Pokemon like Sneasel pretty hard. It hits Venusaur decently well, I guess. It hits Gastron decently well. And as you can see on his draft, yeah, it hits Lucario really hard. Hits Heatran really hard. Like, Earthquake is a pretty spammable move versus his team. And the Pokemon the Pokemon immune to it is weak to Ice. So I'm like, okay, that works for me. So that's Piloswine. Here to be a wall, like it's always been. Next is my Arcanine, a pretty interesting set. I have enough speed to outspeed a max speed Lucario, and I'm running two moves, Bulldoze and Flare Blitz, Bulldoze, Toxic, and Morning Sun. Toxic is for the Gastron because I can't touch Gastron. Originally, this was a Power Herb Solar Beam set, and that was going to be a pretty cool idea because, normally Gastron kind of walls Arcanine, but I decided not to do that because I want Flare Blitz to do more damage, and I didn't want Life Orb because obviously I would run Power Herb, and with Power Herb, Flare Blitz just doesn't do that much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna diss it and just hope I can like catch the Gastron on a switch, go for Toxic, and then I'd be good to go because my team kind of handles it pretty well. And then Flare Blitz does a lot to his team. And then Bulldoze. Why am I running Bulldoze? You may ask. Well, Bulldoze and Close Combat do the exact same amount of damage to a Heatran. And my thought process was, if I go for Close Combat and he has like Earth Power in his Heatran, and I go to -1 special defense, that's going to do a lot to me. But with Bulldoze, I do the same amount of damage, I lower its speed, and I don't get a -1 special defense drop, and then I'd be dandy and good to go. So I was like, okay, that seems like a pretty cool plan. Not to mention that if I like hit anything on the switch of a Bulldoze, I outspeed it. Unless it's like, of course, Thunder's T, because, that's immune to ground type attacks. But Thunder Blitz just absolutely destroys a Thunder's T to begin with, so it's okay. And, I just ran enough speed to outspeed Lucario, and I wanted to make sure I had an odd amount of, HP, so I just put 20 and 20. Ignore my dog, he just jumped off my laptop. Anyway, my next Pokemon and my last one is my Virizion. This is my dedicated Gastron switching because in order for him to actually just make my Virizion useless, he would have to get 2 burns on a switch. And hopefully he doesn't get 230% in a row. That'd be worst case scenario. But if he burns me the first time, I ate my Lumberry, and I am good to go. I have 3 attacks, and I have Swords Dance. I have Swords Dance, just in case he doesn't bring Unaware Clefable, but I think he will bring it just because SD Scizor does a lot to his team. And if he doesn't bring a Unaware Clefable, I kind of expect a Chopper Berry Fast Heatran, because that would just make sense too, because I would never be able to sweep under those circumstances. And that's basically the team. My main wall breakers this week are going to be my Arcanine and my Togekiss. Scizor will be here to deal some hits and pivot me around. Latias is here for offensive support with Healing Wish, just in case my Scizor gets burned, or if my Togekiss is low and I can't really get a free Roost off, or if my Arcanine's low and it dies to rocks, I can get on free switch. And in these two, I would only Healing Wish him if it was absolutely necessary. And by absolutely necessary, I mean that, like, if my Togekiss was dead and he had Thunder's T, I would have to just Healing Wish out my Piloswine and hope I can kill it with 2 Ice Shards. And then Virizion, if I could see I could sweep, then I would just Healing Wish that thing up. And that's pretty much the team. Pretty fast rundown. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of a speaker, because I know I was. I think I butchered like every single. I butchered. That pretty much proves how bad I've been throughout this entire video. Dislike it if you want, or like it if you want, or just don't watch it at all. I don't blame you. It's a team builder for GPC. Not I'm probably I don't think many of you guys care. You want to see the match more than anything else, so that's okay. So yeah, that's the team. I'll be seeing you later on today because I'm gonna be uploading my battle later on today because today is Saturday. Of course, all matches have to go up on Saturday, so I'm like, all right, that works with me. So yeah, that's the team. I've said that like 5 times already. So I'm gonna be up on out of here. So yeah, au revoir and peace.